Hey guys, today we're going to have a look at the circumferences of circles. This is going to involve some new formulas as well as the number pi, which you might not be used to using up until now. First of all, you need to know the different parts of the circle, like this line that goes from one side of the circle right through the center of the circle to the other side. That's called a diameter. The important thing about the diameter is that it has to go through the center of the circle. If it doesn't cross through the center of the circle, so if I were to draw a line from here across to here, for example, that wouldn't be a diameter, that would just be a chord. Another measurement that you need to know for these formulas is this length right here. And that again is a length from the center of the circle out to the side. It's basically half of the diameter, and that's called the radius. Now this dark circle that I've drawn around my pink circle, that represents my circumference. Circumference is really just another word for the perimeter of a circle. Here's an animation to show what it looks like if I were to roll the circumference out onto a straight line. To show that it is a one-dimensional measure. We can measure it looking in just one single direction. And the length of that circumference depends on the values that we're given. If we're given the radius of the circle, for example, we can use this formula. The circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. However, if we're given this information, so you're told what the diameter of the circle is, we can use this formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Now notice these are the same formulas. They will calculate the same circumference because a diameter is really just 2 radiuses. So I've just replaced the 2r with a d. The one thing you might not know here is what this symbol means, and that's the symbol pi. That represents this number. You can try and find this button on your calculator, and you should see that when you push that button, you get a long, non-terminating decimal. That doesn't mean that it's a recurring decimal because you see that the digits in the number don't repeat. They are constantly different digits. That's why we've got that button on the calculator, because you would never be expected to memorize that. So here's an example. Work out the circumference of the circle given that I've got a radius of 5 centimeters. So I'm going to use this formula because I know what the radius is. So substituting into this formula, I just need to do 2 times pi times the radius value, which is 5. And I can simplify that. Without even using my calculator, I can see that 2 times pi times 5, that would be 10 pi, because 2 times 5 is 10. Now this is still an exact answer. The second I put this into my calculator though, and I get this really long decimal number, I start having to round, and my answer isn't exactly right anymore. So my answer is rounded here. See my symbol? It's rounded to 1, 2, 3 digits. That's 3 significant figures. So the circumference is approximately 31.4 centimeters. Let's have another look at an example. Here we're given the diameter. So I'm going to use this formula this time. C equals pi times diameter. Now you're going to have to remember these two formulas, but they shouldn't be too difficult to remember when you realize that they're basically the same thing. I don't need to do 2 times pi times the diameter because the diameter is already 2 radiuses. Okay, so substituting into this equation, you got C times pi times the diameter value is 17. So that's basically 17 pi. Now again, this is the exact circumference of the circle. As soon as I do a calculation with pi, I'm going to get a long, non-terminating decimal answer, and I'm going to need to round that. Generally, we ask for 3 significant figures. So rounding that to 3 digits there, that would be 5, 3, 0.4 with a 0 after it is not going to round up. That's 53.4. My units of measure are the same as in the question, meters. Here's some practice for you. So take a minute now. Go ahead and sketch this out, or if you like, you can just write A and say what was given. Is this the radius or the diameter? So R equals 7 and use the correct formula to work out the circumference. Notice that this is not a radius, neither is this one. This one is though, so use the right formula. Down here, you're not given any diagrams, but you're given clearly what variable you're given. Here I'm given the D, here I'm given the D, here I'm given the R, and here I'm given the R. So you should know what formulas to use and what values to substitute in. Take a minute to do that now, and I'm about to put up the answer, so hit pause if you need time. Okay, here come the answers. Hit pause if you need more time. Answers are coming up for A, B, C, D. Those are the exact answers, but I would imagine you put that in your calculator and you will have rounded to the 3 significant figures. Those are your rounded answers. Now for questions E, F, G, H, again hit pause if you're not ready yet. Those are the exact answers, and when you calculate them to 3 significant figures, they round to this. Now notice question F and question H. We've got the same values here, even though I gave you a different variable value. I told you that D was 42 millimeters, and I told you that R was 21 centimeters. They're different values. However, a diameter is twice a radius. So although I gave you a radius of 21 here, you should notice that 2 radiuses, 2 times 21 would be 42, which is why we worked out that they were the same circumference, ignoring the units of measure, of course. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a good start. Please let me know if you need any more practice or any more advice. And that's it for today.